I hate everything about you, Grandma. We want to live just as a family, so get out. Aurora, my eldest son's wife, yelled at and started throwing my belongings around the room. Seeing this, my younger son's wife, Evelyn, seemed to make up her mind and said, "Hannah, then please come to our house if you'd like." She said this while taking my hand. It seems like Evelyn had a plan. My name is Hannah, and I'm turning 75 this year. I've been working with flower arrangement since I was young, and I rent an old house in the neighborhood to run my flower arrangement classes. I don't like being too strict with my teaching, and although there are rules to remember, I think it's enough if everyone enjoys arranging flowers together. Perhaps because of this approach, my classes have become quite popular, and it's hard to get a reservation. Until a few years ago, I mainly taught local women. Why not teach flower arranging to tourists too? Evelyn, my younger son's wife, suggested. Evelyn married my younger son 2 years ago. She's always cheerful and energetic, loved by people of all ages and genders. Her youthful appearance has made her a favorite in the neighborhood. She doesn't have children, but has been a great support to my younger son and is a wonderful wife. Thanks to Evelyn, my flower arrangement classes are on track, attracting members even from neighboring towns. I always wanted to work as much as possible in my later years and not be a financial burden to my sons. My husband still works as a tax consultant at 70, so I too wanted to have a job. So it's a blessing that my flower arrangement classes are popular and provide a stable income. However, my biggest worry is Aurora, the wife of my eldest son with whom we live. Aurora married my eldest son Matthew 5 years ago, but I've always felt we didn't get along. Their marriage was a shotgun wedding due to Aurora's pregnancy. Thinking they would be financially strained, I suggested they live with us for a few years until things settled. Matthew was initially happy with this, but I soon regretted it. Aurora has a tough personality, evident in her every word, whether she's speaking to me or my husband. Matthew seems completely under her thumb. Although she's married to Matthew, whom I cherish, it seems to her I'm just an annoying presence. Aurora, while a housewife, hardly does any housework. I took care of the chores when the baby was born, expecting her to take over eventually. But years later, she still doesn't. It's as if she sees me more as a housekeeper. The shampoo in the bathroom is gone. Sorry, I didn't notice. Please be more responsible. I'm busy with the kids, you know. I'm sorry. That's how it was. Aurora would find something and immediately complain to me. I understood she was busy with childcare, but to me, it seemed she just lounged around watching TV all day. Of course, Matthew, her husband, never said anything to her. He always put his wife before his parents, letting her do as she pleased. Running my flower arrangement classes 5 days a week, and then doing household chores was becoming increasingly difficult with age. My husband would come home from work, see me doing chores, and worry if I was getting too tired. He has always been a workaholic, but was very lenient with the kids. He rarely opposed what they wanted to do and never raised his voice. Now, I wonder if that leniency has led to unfavorable outcomes. Maybe I was too indulgent, he said, looking sad. I was starting to think about finding a new place for my eldest son's family so my husband and I could live quietly by ourselves. One day, after shopping and preparing lunch, I noticed it was noisy outside. There seemed to be several families having fun. Suddenly, the front door opened, and those families entered our house. "Excuse us." Come in. The house is a mess, but make yourselves comfortable. Sorry for dropping by like this." "It's fine, don't worry about it." With that, Aurora ushered the other families into the living room. Confused by this sudden event, I was now dealing with 5 adults and 5 children. 10 people suddenly in my house. "Aurora, what's this about?" "It's okay, don't worry, just go over there." The other family started spreading out store-bought dishes and began a party in the living room. Of course, I wasn't informed about any of this. I was overwhelmed, my house suddenly overrun by a large group. The children not being watched by the adults were misbehaving, opening our fridge, jumping on the sofa. Not wanting to be in such a house, I decided to go out for a while, do some shopping, and distract myself. Relaxing in a cafe, reading a book, and browsing new shops, I lost track of time. And before I knew it, it was 4 p.m. Thinking I should return home to prepare dinner, I worried about the state of the house. When I got back, I could still hear the noise inside. They haven't left yet. Feeling heavy-hearted but knowing I had to ask them to leave, I entered the house and approached Aurora. Then she said something unbelievable. "Oh, these people are staying over tonight." "What? But the rooms are..." "We'll use your room for them, so you should stay in a hotel tonight." That's absurd. Suddenly faced with such an unreasonable demand, I was at a loss. I immediately called my husband and explained the situation. Even he was shocked, saying, "What?" But it seemed like there was nothing he could do since other families were already at our house. So I contacted my younger son Robert and decided to stay with him for a day. Robert, having heard the situation, was surprised by Aurora's domineering behavior but gladly agreed to let us stay. "Sorry for calling out of the blue." "Don't worry about it. I'm often away for work, and Evelyn will be happy to have someone to talk to," he said, comforting us. "It must have been hard for you. You can stay with us as long as you need." "Thank you, that's a relief." "But what about Aurora? Didn't she say anything to you, Hannah?" I was just as shocked. "Actually, we've been having trouble too." Evelyn then began to talk about the troubles with my eldest son's family. It turned out that the younger son's family had lent them money. They weren't exactly well off, but since they didn't have children, they decided to help out a bit. However, the repayment deadline had passed, and they were making excuses not to pay back. Especially Aurora, who even got angry and made excuses, causing quite a problem. The younger son and his wife. "We'll just consider the money we gave as a gift and let it go." It seems that they have decided to go with that idea. I wish they could pay it back, though. It was a significant amount. "How much did you lend?" $10,000. "What? Such a large sum? I've been giving them money every month, too." "Really?" "I, too, have been giving my eldest son money every month. Since my grandchild was born, I thought they might need it, so I gave them $1,000 monthly, yet they still seem short on money. Of course, they don't pay rent since the house belongs to my husband and me. It was a mystery where all that money was going." A week later, after finishing my flower arrangement class and returning home, I saw a white truck parked in front of the house. "What's this?" Curiously looking, I saw workers who seemed like contractors coming out of the house. "We'll contact you again once we have the estimate." "Okay, thank you so much," Aurora responded with a smile. "Aurora, what's happening?" "Oh, nothing really." Aurora acted as if she wanted to keep it from me. "But they were talking about an estimate." "Well, we're planning a home renovation. That was the estimate." Her shocking revelation made me raise my voice. "What? I haven't heard anything about this. When was this decided?" "It doesn't matter when. The house is old, and we're making it more comfortable to live in. But we don't have that kind of money." The first thing that concerned me was the issue of money. I couldn't believe my eldest son's family, who always relied on me, would pay for the renovation themselves. "For the comfort of our family, please take care of it. We don't have the money to pay," Aurora said. That's absurd. Unbelievably, Aurora had decided to renovate the house without consulting me or my husband. Our house, indeed old, didn't urgently need renovations. There were no steep stairs or significant level changes. Upon asking, it turned out Aurora wanted to remodel the rooms to make them stylish. She felt embarrassed living in an old house while her friends had trendy homes. Her childish reasoning left me speechless. Moreover, I had been thinking about asking the eldest son's family to find a new place, but Aurora's plan suggested they intended to stay long-term. The thought of living together for many more years made me feel gloomy. Reaching my limit, I decided to vent to Evelyn. Both of us troubled by the eldest son's family, it had become easier to share our frustrations. She started talking about renovating on her own? Unbelievable! Yes, and it looks like we're expected to pay. Is there any way to stop her? After I said this, Evelyn seemed to have an idea. Let's teach that couple a lesson. How? I have the perfect plan. Let's fight back now. Saying this, Evelyn began to devise a strategy with an excited look. A week later, Evelyn came to my house. She had some kind of recording device in her hand. Aurora, when will you return the money? What? I can't right now. We have a child after all. Aurora refused to repay the borrowed money, using her child as an excuse. Frustrated by her attitude, both Evelyn and I grew increasingly irritated. Well, our grandchild is starting elementary school soon, so perhaps it's time for you to move out. I'm getting old and want to live peacefully. What are you talking about? We're about to renovate. There's no way we're leaving. Caught off guard by mine and Evelyn's suggestion, Aurora panicked but refused all our demands. I hate everything about you. We want to live just as a family, so get out. Aurora yelled that and started throwing my belongings around the room. Seeing this, Evelyn seemed to make up her mind. Hannah, then please come to our house if you'd like. She said this while taking my hand. Evelyn seemed to have a plan in mind. Leaving an enraged Aurora at home, Evelyn and I went to my younger son's house. She shared her plan for retaliation against Aurora with me. Listen, if things stay as they are, they'll do whatever they want with the house and take your money, putting you in a tough spot. So, let's fight back and give them a taste of their own medicine. But how can we do that? First, stop all payments for the house. Although I lived with my eldest son's family, I never received any contribution towards living expenses. We paid for everything from utilities and groceries to neighborhood association fees. Thankfully, the house was already paid off. And don't give them the usual $1,000 every month. I see, but then I might not have a place to live. My biggest concern was becoming homeless. At 75, I couldn't buy a new house. Stay in the house until our counterattack is over. That way, it won't matter if the water or electricity gets cut off. That makes sense. Feeling a bit weak for fearing losing the house, Evelyn encouraged me with determination. We need to make Matthew realize how much they're taking advantage of Hannah. Her eyes were full of seriousness. Besides, we don't know how long we can keep working, so we should save as much money as possible. You're right. Then with Evelyn's help, I changed all the house-related payments. They were being charged to my credit card, but I switched to having the bills sent to the house. This way, the payment slips would start arriving at the house next month. Both Evelyn and I couldn't help but smirk, thinking about our retaliation. Since my eldest son's family rarely checked the mail, they might not notice the bills and end up with the utilities being cut off. The thought made us laugh uncontrollably. Our counterattack continued. With Aurora's requested home renovation about to start, my husband and I decided to have a talk with the eldest son's family about the future of the house. Is the renovation starting next month? Yes, but do you still have complaints? Aurora's mood soured instantly when the renovation came up. It's not about that. As you said, the elderly should pass their homes on to the younger generation. So we've decided to give this house to Matthew and his family. My husband spoke the words he had thoughtfully prepared. The eldest son's family began to celebrate as if they had been waiting for this moment. Yes! Finally, the house is ours. Lucky us. Just so you know, if you ask for it back later, it's not happening. While I felt like sighing at their reaction, I continued the conversation about the renovation. You can remodel the house however you like, I told them. Young people have their own tastes, my husband added. At this, Aurora's face lit up with a smile. Of course! Now that you're no longer residents of this house, could you please leave quickly? This is our house now. Leave, she says. Make sure to move out your stuff quickly. Despite being irritated by Aurora's attitude, I reminded myself that this was all part of our retaliation and held back. Soon after, Evelyn helped me pack our belongings and move them to my younger son's house. I'm always causing trouble for you. What are you talking about, Hannah? The real counterattack is just beginning. While talking like this, we moved our belongings into the house. The estimate from the remodeling company had already arrived, and both my younger son's family and I were shocked at the amount. Not just changing the wallpaper and flooring, but they planned to relocate stairs and change the layout. The cost was as much as building a new house. Can they even afford such an amount? Probably not, but it's their own doing. I can't believe they're expecting us to pay for this. Due to Aurora's insistence, the remodeling was almost a complete overhaul of the house. The contractor even said it would be cheaper to buy a new house. But the eldest son's family, thinking we would pay, seemed to be moving forward with the renovation to their liking. Aurora spent her days not doing housework, but poring over interior design magazines. Seeing her like this made me want to start a retaliation right away. We had already informed the remodeling company about their payment. We are giving the house to our son and his wife, so please charge them for everything. The amount in the estimate is fine. The company agreed, and once a significant down payment was made, the work would begin. The down payment was over $10,000. I doubted Matthew and Aurora had such money, but I decided to watch how things would unfold. A few days later, an infuriated Aurora came to my younger son's house. What is this about us having to pay? Why? Why? We told you to do as you like since we're leaving, I replied. You both seemed happy about it. You said you'd pay for the remodeling. You don't have anything else to spend your money on, so use it for your son and his wife. Why would I? At that, Evelyn, having reached her limit, burst out in anger. Enough is enough. You've been making Hannah and her husband pay for everything, and you still want more. They've been paying your rent, groceries, and even giving you $1,000 every month. Did you know that? It's only fair that you pay for the renovation since you told Hannah to leave. Aurora seemed shocked to hear about the $1,000, her face showing confusion. $1,000? What is that about? Didn't you know? Maybe your husband was using it secretly. Birds of a feather, I said sharply, adding insult to injury. I'm sorry, but from now on, we won't be giving you a single dollar. No way. Why? After I said that, Aurora left, looking frustrated. Since then, I haven't given my eldest son's family any money. Apparently, Aurora had to apologize to her relatives and borrow money to pay the down payment to the remodeling company. I'm sure they have no intention of paying it back. Now that they've kicked me out and got the house, they have to manage all the expenses they used to rely on me for, and life seems to be getting tough for them. Aurora has to work without any days off as they're financially strained. The relationship between my eldest son and his wife has deteriorated due to financial issues, and they apparently fight almost every day. The $1,000 I used to give my son every month was, unbeknownst to Aurora, being spent on drinking and entertainment. Moreover, it was revealed he was inviting junior colleagues to clubs and bars, as indicated by the numerous girls' business cards found in his suit pockets. This issue led to a huge fight, and they even considered divorce at one point. However, neither had the capacity to live independently, so they decided not to go through with it. Neither could afford alimony, which was probably a wise decision. They might have finally realized how expensive it is to live on their own. Lately, Aurora has been calling me with a pleading tone. Hannah, won't you come back home? What? Well, I thought maybe you'd prefer the house you're used to over where you are now. You just want my money, don't you? I'm much more comfortable where I am now. Sorry. I hung up the phone and deleted her contact information. Eventually, it became clear that my eldest son's family couldn't afford the remodeling costs, so they had to sell the house soon after it was completed. The house was priced quite high, probably due to the extensive remodeling expenses, much higher than the average in our town. Our old neighborhood is a so-called bedroom community, not particularly close to a station and without great transportation links. With such conditions, I doubt it will sell easily. Moreover, the interior, heavily influenced by Aurora's preferences, was a mismatch of styles and hardly stylish. I think it showed a significant lack of taste to spend so much money on such a cluttered house. Maybe we should buy the house, now that it's for sale, Evelyn joked. Afterward, I heard that my eldest son's family moved somewhere else, but I haven't been in contact, so I don't know the details. Rumor has it that they were cut off by Aurora's relatives for not repaying borrowed money. Furthermore, Aurora reportedly started a dubious business out of desperation for money and is now being shunned by her friends. For several months, we stayed with my younger son and his wife. Evelyn, being kind, offered us, "Why don't you live with us?" But, tired from living with Aurora and her family, I politely declined. Instead, Evelyn arranged for us to rent an old house owned by her relatives that they were looking for tenants for. It was an astonishing 120-year-old traditional house. I fell in love with it at first sight. My husband and I, fond of old things, gratefully agreed to rent it. We were offered an unbelievably low rent as family, which we deeply appreciated. The house, grand and full of character, was perfect for my flower arrangement classes. It was even better than the old house I had been renting before, likely attracting more students. I'm motivated to continue with my flower arrangement classes. Changing our living situation made me realize how abnormal the relationship with my eldest son's family had been. I hope my eldest son and his wife learn to value the people around them more than their use of money. If they do, they might find help in times of need, as life is about helping each other. I'm thankful to Evelyn for this realization. I'm proud of my son for marrying such a wonderful woman. I don't know how long I have left, but I plan to continue supporting my younger son and his wife as much as I can.